one of the questions I get asked fairly frequently is, hey, Azul, do you have any ideas? Do you have any tips to help me be able to save more money and to invest it and see it grow more successfully than maybe what I've been able to do in the past? And so in today's video, I'm going to share with you 11 tips to break out of habits that keep a lot of people poor. Okay, so let's just jump in. And one of the first ones I'd share with you is it's not enough to just save. Think about it. If you save money but you don't give it an opportunity to grow, boy, you're working for every dollar that goes into that account. And you don't want that. You want at some point for your money to be working harder than you are, for your money to be growing at a rate faster than you're putting in money, for the value of the account to have increased by more than the type of money that you're putting in. And it doesn't take that long to get to that point. A little over 10 years and you're really going to see your money starting to work for you. So that's my first tip. Okay, the next tip is be sure to take advantage of what I call free money. And the most famous and the lowest hanging fruit of free money is a match by your employer in your 401k. If your employer matches the first 2, 3, 4% of the money that you put in your 401k, boy, be sure you take advantage of that. Really, the only money you should be saving before that is something for an emergency fund, right? In case you lose your job or something like that. But right behind that is at least up to the match of what your employer offers. Take advantage of that free money. Okay, number 3 is don't give away your money unnecessarily. And specifically, don't give it away to the government. Too many of us aren't aware of some of the tax breaks that we're allowed to have and some of the ways that we can save money and pay our bills tax efficiently. For instance, let's say, you spend $100 a month on average for healthcare expenses, right? Maybe you go a couple months with no visit to the doctor, but then you get sick or one of your kids gets sick. And most of us just pull out our credit card and pay that bill. Well, there's something called a health savings account. That's not the purpose of this video, but it allows you to pay your out-of-pocket expenses for qualified expenses with pre-tax dollars. There's all for college savings. Let's say you're saving money for your child's education. Put that money in a 529 because that allows that money to grow tax-free. And if your child's 4 years old, you've got 18 years until that final tuition check is going to be written. And that's a lot of time for that money to grow. In fact, in theory, it could double twice. So if you put $10,000 in that account, assuming a 8% return, that $10,000 could double once to $20,000 and then double again to $40,000. So you want to take advantage of that so you don't have to pay taxes along the way on it. So don't give away your money unnecessarily. Okay, the next one. And this one's going to be a little controversial, but one of the secrets to saving money is making good money. And so, if you'd like to make more money than what you're making now, one of the best ways to do that is to just level up your skills. Find a skill that you think you'd enjoy doing and become good at that. Learn that skill. And it doesn't mean going back to college. It can mean going back to college. But for instance, like programming, there's a lot of self-taught programmers. There's all types of skills. Social media marketing, just about every small company is looking for somebody to help them with their social media marketing. And you may not know much about Twitter or LinkedIn today, but that doesn't mean that in 6 months you can't know a lot more than maybe the owner of a small company with 10 employees. And then you get that experience and you constantly level up and maybe that becomes your full-time job. So I really encourage you to think about, what skills can you pick up that would allow you to make more money? Okay, the next one, and the next two are going to be controversial. The next one is having what I call non-productive debt. There's productive debt, and then there's non-productive debt. Productive debt might be your mortgage. Productive debt might be, buying a piece of equipment for your company so that you can do more services for your customers or charge more money for certain services or do the job in less time. That's productive debt. Non-productive debt is pulling out your credit card, and buying a sweatshirt that you don't need, mea culpa, putting on your card. But if you put it on your card, make sure you can pay it off, and try to minimize how much non-productive debt that you have, credit card debt, right? We all know interest rates are 20 to 28%. That adds up really quickly. So try to minimize your non-productive debt. Okay, the next one, again, I said it's controversial, is just too much spending. Spending, we as Americans, I think in general, American society, we spend more than a lot of cultures, and we spend more on things that maybe we really don't need, right? I mentioned my 5th or 6th sweatshirt. I really like sweatshirts. But what I suggest you do is separate your life into needs and wants, right? Your needs are rent, or you're paying your mortgage, the utility bill, food, car to get back and forth from work from. Those are your needs. And then the wants are, the 5th sweatshirt that I'm wearing here today, or whatever else there is in your life, going out to eat, doing fun things. And we absolutely should have that. I would just caution you to focus more on experiences and adventures than on more stuff. Most of us have plenty of stuff. Okay, let's keep going here. The next one is not really having a plan or a goal. There's an old adage, it's if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. And it's hard to reach your goal if you don't know what that goal is. So I really encourage you to think about coming up with a financial plan, coming up with a financial goal. You're going to try to save X amount of dollars. You're going to try to pay these credit cards off next year, things like that. Have a goal and have a plan to get there. You don't always need to hire a professional. Obviously, I'm a big fan of fee-only financial advisors. This is not financial advice for anybody. I don't know your situation. These are just things that I've shared with people that I found that other people have told me have been helpful. But I do think it's good to have a plan, even if it's a plan that you and your spouse, or you just sit down, put together the plan and say, this is my goal and here's how I think I'm going to get there. Okay. The next one is not having an emergency fund. I recommend to people at least 3 months of living expenses and an account really probably down the street at the bank that you can get a hold of if something unexpected happens, an expensive medical bill, an expensive car repair. And by expensive, I mean like $1,000, right? Half of Americans don't have enough money to pay an unexpected $1,000 expense. Don't let that be you. And that's kind of how people kind of start spiraling down, is then they end up putting something on their credit card. They can't pay it off. They're paying 25% interest or higher. Set that money aside. And yes, your local bank's not paying you much, but it's there to give you optionality. It's there to give you security. If, God forbid, you were to lose your job, it gives you the freedom to look for the job that's the right match for you, as opposed to just finding the first job that you can find. Okay, the next one, habit that really breaks my heart when I see it, and we've all been there at some point in our lives, and that's feeling defeated. Whether it's with savings or it's something else. My side of the family are not great athletes. I always liked playing sports, but I often felt defeated on the team because I wasn't the best athlete. And people can feel defeated on their financial goals. Maybe you've tried this before and you haven't been able to succeed at it. Or maybe you just think it's useless. Why even bother? Maybe you're 40 or 50 and thinking, it's not going to make a difference. I don't have enough money to retire. It is going to make a difference, and you can do this. So, do what you can to be optimistic. I like to listen to podcasts. I like to watch YouTube videos. Obviously, you do as well. Things that keep me in a positive mindset, because the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So plant that tree today. In 10 years, in 20 years, you'll be thanking yourself for doing that. Okay. And another one is paying yourself last. Oftentimes people do this. They go through their budget. They have different things they want to do. And if there's any money left over, then they're going to put that money into a savings account. Try to pay yourself first. You know, if your goal is to save $500 a month, see if you can pay yourself first. Put that in the need category, right? So rent or your mortgage, utilities, food, car to go back and forth to work, and your savings. Put that there, and then see what's left over for buying stuff or having adventures. And if you like this video, I know you're going to enjoy this next video. It's kind of part 2, which is why it's important to look poor in order to achieve your financial goals. You're going to love that video. I'll see you in there. Bye-bye.